Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.
Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deon Amade. Here at Ford High School Weekly, we like to be in the know. And when you're talking about recruiting, you got to be in the know with my man, Michael Knight from Prep Red Zone. Here to talk with us today. Michael, how's it going?
It's going good, man. You know, it's another evaluation period starting up. College coaches are going all over the country. And so recruiting, especially when you start talking about that 2023 class, is really starting to heat up right now.
So go ahead and tell the people who aren't in the know, as I said earlier, what is the evaluation process?
So there's certain periods in the calendar, the recruiting calendar, that is, where coaches can't, get on the road, talk to prospects, have interactions with prospects. And so this is a period right now where they can get on the road, go visit schools, go visit kids in home, those interactions with those prospects, get out there, get as many 2023s on board as possible. And so now's the time when coaches are traveling all across the country, coming up in the month of May, when spring football starts, I believe about halfway through the month. Once all the spring sports are over in the state, you're going to have college coaches all over Oklahoma going to spring practices, checking out kids in person, seeing how they look in pads. So it's a very busy time. It's a very busy time for college coaches. And then for the kids who are hoping to get looked at, this is obviously a critical time for them to be in contact with those coaches.
We know we're nearing the end of April, and like you said, evaluation period is here. But I mean, I've been looking on Twitter and social media and noticing there are some kids who are starting to pop up saying, this coach is looking at me. Thanks for coming by my campus and receiving this offer. So it's an exciting period in their lives, especially these juniors, to get some of these offers. But who are some of the kids that you've seen on social media getting some of these offers and entertaining the process of coaches coming to see them and visit them on their home turf?
Well, as we speak right now, OU is not, necessarily doing a lot of travel, but they're hosting a lot of prospects with their spring game coming up on Saturday, the 23rd. They're actually hosting a lot of recruits, especially in-state prospects in Norman. Cole Adams, the wide receiver out of Wasso, who's absolutely blown up over the last few months, he's down there. Eric McCarty from McAllister, he's already committed to OU. He was our player of the year last fall, helping lead McAllister to the state title game. Just an electric player on offense and defense. He's in Norman. There with him is a guy who he's familiar with, playing 7-on-7 during the offseason for C4. Shout out to Sean Cooper and Durant. Morgan Pearson out of Plainview, another kid who, is a two-sport athlete, baseball and football, but it looks like football is going to be his future. He has offers from schools for both sports, but he's in Norman. Then you have other top prospects like Jacoby Johnson from Mustang, another dual sport athlete who has offers from D1 programs for both football and basketball. I saw a picture he tweeted out that he's in Tuscaloosa, on a visit to Alabama. And then you have schools, some of the group of five schools, some of the smaller programs that routinely recruit Oklahoma year in and year out. I mentioned before we got on here, Air Force, they were heavy in the Tulsa area, making the rounds to some of the top Tulsa prospects. I know Chance Wilson, the Rejoice Christian quarterback who's on the rise, he had a visit from them, as well as several other Tulsa prospects. I mentioned Chance Wilson. He's been offered by several programs over the last several months. So he's a 2023 quarterback that certainly, after an outstanding junior season, he is seeing his stock just absolutely skyrocket this offseason the more his film makes the rounds with college coaches.
Yeah, I've been looking at some of his social media stuff, and it seems like he's getting that push up the ladder, especially with that junior highlight tape going around.
I really like this 2023 class. I think it's incredibly deep. A lot of the positions, especially on the offensive side of the ball, have really good depth, especially quarterback, running back, wide receiver. There's some great depth at those positions, and I think we're about to see a lot of those kids blow up this spring and summer.
The Prep Red Zone Showcase is coming up Saturday, April 30th. We'll get the scoop on this golden recruiting opportunity for Oklahoma high school football players when Ford High School Weekly continues. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with Prep Red Zone's Michael Knight. Michael, I'd like to talk about the number 5 prospect in the 2023 class, Eric McCarty from McAllister. That's a kid that I'm always curious to know if maybe he doesn't get the looks as some of the Luke Hawes and the Micah T's that in those rankings because he doesn't play 6A football here in the state of Oklahoma. Is that something that kind of holds him back, or is it a situation where he, compared to some of these athletes, he's just, a slot behind?
I don't think so. I mean, you look at, you mentioned Eric, but I mean, By Job from Community. I mean, it's Community Christian. It's a small Christian, private school in Norman, Oklahoma that plays 2A football, and he's a top 5 prospect. So I think that, 20 years ago, that would hold them back. But the more we get on social media, the more there are websites like Prep Red Zone, and these kids are getting more exposure than ever before. It doesn't matter where you're playing at. If you're a baller, if you're that high caliber player like an Eric McCarty, like a By Job, people are going to know about you.
Speaking of watching players evolve, you guys are putting on the next Prep Red Zone Showcase here in Tulsa. So go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's coming up on April 30th. It'll be our 3rd camp that we've run since launching Prep Red Zone Oklahoma a couple of years ago. The camp has continued to grow over the first couple of times. We're expecting to continue to take that next step, and I'm fired up for this thing, man. I've really taken the reins on it as the guy in charge, and we're bringing in some fantastic coaches to coach the kids at each position, and then we're bringing in a ton of college staffs as well to scout. And one thing that we're adding this year is we're going to feed them lunch beforehand, kind of another incentive. And when I message these coaches, I'm like, look, we're going to have some of the best talent in Oklahoma all in the same place for you to scout, for you to watch. And so it's one of those things where they're going to say yes immediately. But when I go ahead and throw that tagline in, I'm like, yeah, and you might, grab a couple slices of pizza, get yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and watch all the action. A couple more coaches certainly more interested after that invitation. But we're happy to do it, man. This is going to be a fun time on April 30th. And looking forward to taking that next step to getting more kids in Oklahoma exposure than they've ever had before.
You said free pizza, so how do I register?
Yeah, well, as far as your eligibility goes, we're only looking for 2023 to 2025 prospects. I don't know what your graduating class is, but it was probably sometime, a decade ago. But it's going to be a good time. If you're a 2023 through 2025 prospect, you can go ahead and register on the website, prepredzone.com/Oklahoma. I'm always giving out coupon codes, so I'll go ahead and give another one here. There is a code that you can use if you're a prospect, if you're a parent of a prospect and you want to sign up. We do have a code for you to save $10 off that registration. It's Knight Tour 10. So it's my last name, Knight, Knight, the word tour, and then the number 10, all one, no spaces, none of that, and it'll save you $10 off your registration. And the thing that I always say is there's no reason why a kid needs to pay full price. They have that code available. Go ahead and use it. We're going to have some great athletes, and this is kind of the tagline that I've adopted for our camp. When you come to a Prep Red Zone Showcase, this is what happens. You get coached by the best, you get covered by the best, and you compete against the best. You're going to be coached by some of the best guys across the state. You're going to be competing against some of the best players in Oklahoma, and then you're going to be covered by the best. And I'm biased, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Prep Red Zone Oklahoma is the best when it comes to high school football in Oklahoma. And so when we go out there, not only are these guys going to get great competition, but we're going to be posting about it for the next week, talking about who showed out, who some of the top performers were, who were some of the hidden gems that had breakout performances. So, man, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what kids show up in Tulsa on April 30th that are wanting their recruitment to blow up. Last year, we had several kids who came to our camp with no offers. By the end of the day, they had multiple college offers. So I can't wait to hear the stories like that come from our camp on April 30th.
Yeah, I was out there last year, and I think I might just have to pull up again this year and check out some of the talent and maybe grab me a couple of slices of pizza too. But Michael, thank you so much for joining us again, my man. And again, remember, guys, if you want to go ahead and register, do so. It's on April 30th at between 2 and 5 p.m. Register. You got to be there.
Yeah, we're running it at Titan Sports Complex out in Jinx, over by the airport, by South Lakes Golf Course. Register beforehand. We have dynamic pricing starting on April 23rd. The registration price goes up by $10. So get locked in as soon as you can. We are accepting walk-ups if you don't register beforehand, which is the easiest way for the college coaches to get your info. So if you can register beforehand, do so. But if you have to be a walk-up, we are accepting walk-ups with exact cash or a check for us. But it's going to be great, man. I mean, these kids are going to get an awesome experience. They're going to be coached by, like I said, coached by the best, compete against the best, and covered by the best. And they're going to be scouted as well by several college staffs who not only are going to be there in person, but they're going to be getting all the results afterwards. So it's going to be a great event. I look forward to seeing you. And as always, man, I appreciate your time here chatting some football with me today.
It's always good talking with you, Michael. We'll see you soon, man.
There's a shot and a goal. Jinx gets on the board for Trent Nicholas.
Next, we head to the pitch for great soccer highlights from our Ford Game of the Week, right here on Ford High School Weekly. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. It's always kind of a backyard bowl atmosphere when the Jinx Trojans and the Union Redhawks get together. Check out the girls and the boys soccer match with Mike Ziegenhorn and Brian Harvey.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that girls matchup. And early on, Jinx had some opportunities with that 20-mile-an-hour wind in the first half, Coach, and they just could never really get it in the net.
Well, they had obviously lots of chances. Even the penalty kick was just a little bit dubious in terms of crossing the line. But in terms of overall play, I felt that Union held on. I mean, it wasn't a question of, well, they're going to get blown away tonight or whoever. And as soon as they were scored upon, they went back up the field and they answered immediately by putting the defense under pressure, forcing them for the own goal. So lots of admiration for them, the way they came back second half, came after. And this was one of the plays of the game, actually, and it should have been punished. They got behind the defense. And there's another great opportunity. It looked like a rugby scrum, and there it comes out. Keeper comes out with it. And again, another throw to the near post. And this was perhaps another excellent opportunity. And there we have the winning goal on the penalty shootout.
From Haley Green, and celebrating with her teammates, and also Riley Bartness. So you see Green, the freshman. And Union 4-0 in district play. Final stats, Coach.
Well, you only have to look at, we said it was a tight game, and it is. You look at it, it was 11 shots to 12 shots. 4 corner kicks, or shots on goal, 4 to 7, then corner kicks equal again. Fouls, a little bit more on the Trojan margin there, but overall a very tight game, a very close game. Chances went a begging for both sides. Really could have been finished in regular time, but it didn't, and then up stepped the keepers. Both had tremendous games in those shootouts, and we only had one winner, and Union come out that winner on the night.
Let's check out some of the highlights of your Ford Game of the Week. And
there you see basically a very good situation in the opening 6 minutes, and here again we see some silly fouls, and there's no need for those fouls. Again, a good clearance here, and that's a good snapshot. Almost beats the goalkeeper to the near post. But again, and here's the goal, finds its way to the player, and he really buries it at that near post. in between the goalkeeper and the post. Excellent strike on goal.
It's Nicholas Treat who put it in the back of the net. That was really the game winner.
Yeah, we just said that's a very difficult skill to be able to keep that ball down and keep it on goal and get the velocity on the ball that he did as well. But again, goalkeeper reliable as ever, good hands, good positioning, good communication to his back line, and Coach Marshall was very complimentary on him. And here's again, it's another situation that should have been taken care of if the far post was wide open.
Yeah, Jinx definitely had more opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net tonight than did Union.
Yeah, so it was one of those nights where I felt that whoever scored first was going to have a great opportunity of winning the game. And there you have it. Look at that. I mean, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better.
Diego Sanchez with 1 second left on the clock, and Celebration City from a lot of the Jinx fans who are out here tonight. Final stats, no surprise, dominated by Jinx.
Yeah, you can see here shots 12, 7, on target 6 and 3, corner kicks 2 and 1, and fouls doubled in this end. But overall, I think a very tight game, could have gone either way. I mean 1-0, but the second goal was an absolute beauty, and I think that would have been worth the ticket of entrance this evening.
In the middle, and a shot, and a goal. Castleberry scores again.
Next up, we'll check out Broken Arrow and Bixby when Ford High School Weekly continues here on Your Beat.
Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by Billy Sims Barbecue. It's not just barbecue, it's Boomer Q.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Broken Arrow and Bixby are developing a nice soccer rivalry of their own. Here again, Mike Ziegenhorn and Brian Harvey with the boys and girls highlights from Bixby.
We're going to recap this one. A lot of highlights and some stats to give you before we head to the boys game.
Well, there was lots of action here tonight, especially goal mouth action. Both teams both had very, very good forwards who had lots of speed and single-minded, wanted to get to goal and get there quickly. And here again, you see another goal went straight across to the far side of the post, and she slots it home. Again, another outside of the foot pass, and there's that composure, finds the post. Good stuff.
That was Brianna Castleberry to give BA a 2-1 lead heading in to the halftime. And then the second half, Andra Moeller does it again. Wide open net. She juked the keeper out who committed too early. That made it 2-2. And then Hannah Anderson of Broken Arrow is going to get her second goal of the night right here. The penalty kick that made it 3-3 in the final 20 seconds to send this one to overtime. And we've shown it to you a couple of times already, but Castleberry
the win-up
comes out of the left side of your screen and puts it in the back of the net. Bixby falls to Broken Arrow, 4-3.
Here we go again. Stats: 21 shots. I mean, that's a tremendous amount in a game, and obviously those shots 14 to on target as well. Corner kicks 5 and 2, about the same. Fouls more or less even. But you can see the big difference here was 12 shots to 21. 14 of those shots on target, which gave us our score of 4-3.
2-1, Bixby, the final. Let's take a look at the highlights in this one. Coach and BA got on the board first.
Yeah, and again, it's a brave header because he's going face to face with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's a big guy, and the guy who headed it wasn't as big. And there you see some nice turn on the ball, and there's the goal again. And it shows you how brave he was to go for that goal.
It's Kaiba TM at the 8:29 mark of the game.
And that was a familiar sight that we saw all night, that left flank getting attacked down by Bixby there, and it was a good goal. And here's the goal, and I think this is where the goalkeeper got injured, and he never really recovered and was replaced. And then that was a a decision I think that he maybe been better off staying at home, but hey, they'll take him. There's the game winner. Great curve on the ball, as you said, Mike, and also a wicked bounce right in front of the keeper before it just arrived at his feet. So all in all, good game. And I think at the end of the night, just about deserved. Second half performance just about deserved. And there we look at the stats. We see the Tigers still with 19 shots, but if we look at it on the second line, we've got 5 to 10. So that was basically half of that. Corner kicks, again, still in the plus column for the Tigers. And fouls, see a little bit of frustration creeping into the game towards the end, and obviously double almost in fouls. But again, just about on the night, they may have just about shaded the victory.
Go to yourview.com/OK for highlights and check out our podcast and past episodes at yourview.com/OK. Only the best in Oklahoma, like the excellent soccer players we witnessed today, make it to Ford High School Weekly. So until next time, I'm Dion Amade.
Ford High School Weekly has been brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.